You advised, and I listened.
Today, we're finally planting flowers in the DIY garden arbor beds. I've been dying to start my wildflower garden, and now that it's finally warm enough, let the floral chaos begin. But of course, it wouldn't be a DIY Danie episode without turning a simple peanut butter sandwich into a full-course meal, so I'm also tackling a mini DIY for the greenhouse. It involves butterflies, this light, and stained glass. So pull on those garden gloves and let the gardening begin.
Editor, roll the tape. Boop. Oh man. Boop.
This episode is sponsored by Craftsy.
DIY friends, welcome back. I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty tired this week. I don't have much in me after 2 weeks of marathoning for the Marvelous Valkyrie Collection studio space. I'm tired and I kind of feel like a red shirt beaming into a DIY project. I'm underpowered, I'm underprepared, and I am definitely not making it out alive. So the thought of doing a big build gives me no joy. Thus, I decided I just needed to stick my hands in some dirt this week. Bring my creativity back to nature. So we're gonna kick some things off with some planting. Woo! So I received a lot of suggestions. I don't actually know if that worked. So I received a lot of suggestions about what to put in these garden boxes, and I have to say thank you so much for everyone who provided some input, some gardening expertise, and I decided to listen.
It's a miracle.
You in my shot, bro. So I was thinking about planting morning glory in here, but everyone provided some really... So I was thinking... Get out of here. I was thinking about planting morning glories in here, but everyone provided such awesome suggestions, and I decided that I'm gonna go with, drum roll please. No, I don't want a ball. Drum roll please. Clematis. That felt underwhelming. Clematis! So I decided to go with clematis because apparently this is a really good plant for my planting zone, which apparently is a thing. Do I sound like a planting expert or what? And I kind of really just love the flowers. They're really beautiful and they kind of look like little stars, which obviously I'm into. So I love the magic, I love the suggestion, and I think we should go with it. So we need to start planting, so I think we need to go shopping.
So off to my local Home Depot I went. I had my shopping list ready to go. I was on the hunt for stepping stones for my wildflower garden, soil for my raised garden beds, and of course, our clematis. Anything beyond that was just poor choices and shopping addictions, and oh boy, do I love a good garden shop. Pray for my wallet, friends.
Oh, this looks like what we want. You see this? Raised bed soil. Let's go.
Are they heavy?
No.
Yeah, they're heavy.
They're not heavy.
They are heavy.
They're not that heavy.
They're a little heavy.
They're not that
This is
heavy.
back-breaking work.
Okay, on to the next thing.
After feeling a step in the right direction, I left Vanessa and went on the hunt for the infamous clematis.
Oh, I think I see it. This is it. A carnival of blooms.
Not gonna lie, I knew what the flower looked like, but I wasn't feeling confident that I could spot it in the wild yet, so I will say finding it was a challenge.
Oh no, I need to look this up. What's another name for clematis? The Arctic queen or polar bear. No, not helpful. I don't think this is it. Oh my God, cute. A kid's gardening tool set. How sweet is that? I want one of those. Oh, oh, oh. We found it! Hooray!
Now it was just deciding how many I needed, but all in all, I think I had a successful trip, friends.
Should be swampy today, that's for sure. Okay, shopping was successful. Come on in, because I want to show you guys what I bought. Obviously, I did some side shopping, some side quest stuff. I always want to buy some new stuff for the planters. I feel like I don't get very adventurous when it comes to these 2 planters. Like every year, I'm putting lavender in there. Actually, although last year I think I did Russian sage. They kind of look the same because I just like the look of it. But I bought a whole bunch of lavender to plant in here. So normally I like to do about 2 of these guys here. And then I do have this nice little trailing plants, but this year I'm shaking it up a bit. I bought some beautiful phlox. How lovely is this? I love that it's like this little light purple. This is a creeping phlox, so it will have a little bit of that creeping effect as well, but I just thought it was so cute. So we'll throw 2 of these in here on each side and then 2 lavenders in the back. And I think like the light purple with the dark purple will play very nicely together. And then we got these guys coming in. So I feel like that's a good mix, right? Oh, and then I also bought this guy. I don't actually know what flower this is. Maybe you guys can let me know. It doesn't say anywhere. And I forgot to ask. I could do some research on it, but they're so beautiful, and I love that it has this mix of color. So I always love to put something on the greenhouse here. So I thought this would be the perfect answer this year. I like the pop of color here. And then the clematis, come over here, I wanna show you guys. So check this out, look at all my beautiful clematis. How stunning is this? Thank you for this suggestion, because these flowers, they're beautiful. I love them. I've definitely seen them before, but I would have never thought of them to put in my own garden. So this was such a great suggestion. I just love how mystical and fantasy filled they feel with the stars. I don't know, it's such a good pick. And I forgot to mention that I also picked this guy up. This is a rose. What was the name of this? The Tequila Supreme rose. So it actually has more of an orangey rose attached to it. I'm gonna actually put this over into the small little side garden because I wanted something to replace in the corner. So this is gonna be beautiful there, but we ain't talking about that right now. So we need to prep these garden beds. They're very deep and I don't wanna fill all of it with soil. So I'm gonna be putting some sticks, I'm gonna be putting some cardboard, I'm gonna be putting some grass clippings, on the bottom. I'm gonna also fill it up with some old soil from my other beds, and then we're gonna fill the last half, the majority half, with the raised bed soil. So yeah, these are beautiful, but let's get them planted.
Like I mentioned, filling a garden box with soil from the bottom up could be a costly adventure and not a necessary one. Before I add my soil, I'm filling the bottom of my box with drainable, natural, and compostable materials like sticks and twigs, which I had a lot of after my tree fell over this spring. Some cardboard. Actually, Kenobi tried to help. Don't suggest plastic being a good material. And once I felt like I had a good base, I added my raised bed soil, which is the kind of soil that you don't need to mix anything into. This type of soil is going to have all the right blend of materials to help your plants grow, like compost and plant food, so I'm just giving my plants the best shot it's got for success.
The soil smells so good. I don't know how to describe it. Some soils smell like manure, but this one smells like fresh. All right, clematis, gonna need you to unravel yourself.
Yeah, so some would say, Danie, why don't you just cut the plastic lattice off so you don't harm the clematis? Well, hey, to that I say, as always, sometimes being smart is hard, and sometimes you gotta struggle to learn. Trust me, I struggle to watch me too.
Aha, gotcha.
But all that said, I really love the way that this clematis looked. It was the perfect suggestion, and once it starts trailing, I think we're gonna have one beautiful looking arbor, my friends. Now, to help encourage its grow path, I did add some plant clips to hold some of the vines in place. I don't know if these vines are gonna survive. I'm crossing fingers, but we'll see what happens.
Oh my God, please work. What if I sing you a song? Will it make you feel better? Grow clematis, you really wanna grow up this arbor so I can be transported into my magical garden. Yeah.
Honestly, my singing might deter growth, so I think I'm gonna keep that one to the professionals, but my plan was to place 2 at the base of the arbor fence and 1 in the corner to trail onto my dainty toothpick fence of mine. So yeah, everyone cross all fingers and toes that this works. So it wasn't until I finished the second side that I was feeling a tad underwhelmed about the space in the garden bed, and I wasn't sure what was best to plant with the clematis, so I did what any codependent child would do, and I called my hotline green expert.
Mom? Oh, you answered! Oh, thank God.
So yeah, I talked with my mom, asked her a bunch of clematis questions, and just kind of asked her opinion on what else to put into this box, factoring in cost, and she recommended geraniums. They come in lots of colors, and it's a good bang for your buck because you could buy a lot for a decent penny.
A mother knows best.
And well, I did just that and bought a mix of pinks, purples, and yellows. And per usual, my local green expert was right on the money. These geraniums filled in the space beautifully, and it didn't cost me my right arm. For my 2 front planters, I'm using all-purpose garden soil. I already had a bunch of pre-existing soil in those planters, so I'm using the all-purpose to mix in with my old soil 50-50 so that the all-purpose could help add some nutrients back into that soil. Mixing it also helps loosen up the soil, so it just kind of helps your plants grow big and strong and root properly.
Once these fill out a little bit and get some water and then sun and they start growing in, this will just look much more natural. Okay, so now that I have all of my plants planted, I'm gonna just give everything a little bit of a drink, give myself a little bit of a drink, and then we can move on to the next project. I feel good. You good? Some things are just so simple in life. I love the smell of coffee in the afternoon. Okay, so I want to talk about the hydrangeas because in the last episode I talked about how my hydrangeas always come through white every year and I wish they had been a color. And I learned in my comment section that if you change the chemistry of the soil, it actually can change the color of your hydrangeas. And I was like, I'm intrigued. So what I learned is coffee grounds are slightly acidic. So when you add coffee grounds to your soil, it actually makes the soil more acidic, lowering the pH level, thus letting the plant have more access to aluminum, which then makes the plant blue. So I was like, all right, I got some extra coffee grounds sitting around. Let's go for blue. Let's try this science experiment and we'll see if it works. It's coffee time.
Now, I definitely wasn't sure about how much coffee grounds I would need to add to make an impact, but let's call this my mini science experiment. If I need to add more, I will add more, but I love this idea. Now, I did learn that by controlling the pH of the soil, you affect how available aluminum is to your plant. So soil with a pH below 6, which is more acidic, makes the aluminum more available, thus turning it blue. If you have a soil with pH above 7, a more alkaline-based soil, this locks up the aluminum, turning the flowers pink. Coffee grounds or pine needles are slightly acidic, so adding this actually helps with the blue results. And if you want to raise the pH, which makes it more alkaline-based, you can add garden lime, which is calcium carbonate, or use a low aluminum soil. As a last task to our day, I wanted to complete the wildflower area complete with a new stone walking path. To start, I got whippersnipping all the long grass. Honestly, I didn't really have to do this, but I wanted to because it's fun. It's a fun tool to use, super satisfying results, and I just wanted to include it in my quest, okay? Now, here came the most exhausting part to this day. To build this garden, we had to lift up all the earth and the pre-existing grass. I didn't want grass, so I started using my shovel and I just lifted up the patchy parts, rid the area of pre-existing weeds to the best of my ability, and then raked out the soil to help break it up. I did add new soil to the ground and mixed it in to help bring in some new nutrients in hopes that this might encourage my new wildling friends. You know nothing, Jon Snow. I mean, maybe I should say, you know nothing, Danie. Yeah, that is no relation. I just really enjoy saying that. Let's move on. So, finding my distance between stones took a little time. I have learned through my extensive research that for a decorative or garden path, an acceptable distance for my stones could be 12 inches or more between each. Now, if you want a walkable stepping stone path, you would be looking at a distance of 24 to 28 inches on center to match a natural walking stride, unless you have small legs. Honestly, we just went with what felt right, and I think that's okay sometimes. From there, we just had to level out the stones into the earth. I wasn't using a level or anything. This was a rustic walking path that did not require precision, but I did enough to ensure that the stones wouldn't go anywhere, wouldn't wobble around, and no one would be breaking any ankles walking on them.
Yeah, that feels good. Good job, good job.
Now, to properly create my wildflower chaos garden, I think it's best to bring as much chaos to the yard as possible. So in a bin, I added some all-purpose soil, and then I take all my wildflower seeds and just mix it in with the soil. And fun, because it was in this moment that I realized we were not alone in this greenhouse. I had no idea my greenhouse had made a home to these two sweet little baby robins. They're so cute. I shall name them John and Brun. Seeing how we're on a Game of Thrones theme here. Hi, sweets. Oh, aren't you cute? Then all I had left to do was add my new soil chaos babies to the ground, mix it around, and give it a good drink. And now we wait.
Top of the morning to you, DIY friends. Coming at you from the greenhouse. Feels so lovely in here today. This morning we had the craziest rainfall. It was thundering. The rain was just like downpouring. All I kept thinking was like how great this was for my gardens. I feel like with the wildflower garden, I don't know, I got like a 50-50 chance of this working out. But I hope that because I added in the new soil, that it's gonna add new nutrients to the soil and like really just help all the flower beds grow. I mean, I'm not really asking for a lot. I just want it to be chaotic. So maybe if one or two take off this year, maybe that'll be nice. I don't know, we'll have to see. I wanna take down the light that is hanging above me here. Ta-da! So this is a solar powered light that runs from the ceiling. And then there's a little solar powered piece in the back. It's actually been great. I mean, I would say it's probably more decorative than useful, but I thought what would happen if we did make it even more decorative versus useful. So it's really just more like an art piece hanging in this greenhouse. I want to show you guys what I mean. I need to take this down first, then we'll go to the studio and I'll show you what I got in mind. Got to take it down. I don't think it's going to be as easy as I thought. Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's spiders up in there. What? Hi, baby birds. I wonder if I can just undo this part. This would be a lot easier. Aha. Oh yeah, this is way easier. Pop up. I am a genius. To the studio.
Okay, so before I share my crafty creative project, I'd love to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, Craftsy. So like this channel, Craftsy is a wonderful space for all things creative, and at times when maybe creativity doesn't come as easily as it should, Craftsy can be a great place to provide inspiration. So Craftsy is an online resource and community for inspiration and classes to help advance skills, or hey, maybe you want to discover a new creative skill. Craftsy, honestly, they have it all. I'm not kidding. I love the opportunity to explore so many different areas of creativity that you never thought that you would be interested in. Honestly, did I ever think that I would be taking courses on photography? I don't think so, but now I am. Craftsy offers over 2,000 inspiring classes for makers of all skill levels with step-by-step instruction in more than 20 categories like knitting and cooking, sewing, painting, drawing. There's crochet and baking, paper crafts, journaling, gardening, photography. There's fitness and woodworking, jewelry making. I'm losing my breath here. You get the point. Their classes, they provide helpful downloadable resources to make learning easy, or hey, maybe there's a pattern to the art piece that you're making. It's all downloadable. They're always creating new classes to keep you coming back and help you stay inspired. Now, on top of that, it's not just a platform, but it's a community where you can connect with fellow makers and DIY lovers to ask questions, share ideas, and keep the inspiration wheel going. I've actually learned so much about gardening with Craftsy's extensive gardening section. The most recent one that I did is called Vegetable Gardening Smart Techniques for Plentiful Results with Doug Green. I learned the importance of crop rotation, watering strategies, and pest control tips. So it was actually really helpful. But here's the coolest part. Craftsy is letting the first 1,000 people from this community get a full year of premium membership to their Craftsy platform for only $1.49. So use the link in my description box and get in on this. It's literally less than a cup of coffee. And for that, you get access to loads of creative inspiration and classes just like this channel does. So you should check it out. But all right, let's get back to my creative project because I need to show you this. So what are we doing with this? I recently bought this book. It's a stained glass book by the author Neela Cooper. She's a stained glass artist, and it's one of my favorite books. It was my birthday present to me. Actually, I think I stole this from my mom and then she bought one for herself. Anyways, thanks, Mom. This is one of my favorite things on this planet. I have loved flipping through this. It has given me so much inspiration, and I'm so excited to talk about it because you can even see on the front, there's this beautiful photo of this light with a cage, and then they have these butterflies on it. And when I saw it, I was like, I love that. I want that. I want to try that. I'm just obsessed. And I thought it would just be a really fun piece to add to the greenhouse because we already had a light like that hanging in it, and how much better would it look if it had cute little butterflies all over it? So I figured, let's give it a go. I was gonna do this on my own time, but I figured, you know what? I want to bring you guys along. I love how much you root me on it, and it gives me strength and confidence to do these DIY projects because there is a little bit of technique with this. We're gonna have to wrap the copper foil around the base to give obviously the butterflies something to hang on to. And we also need to pick some colors for our butterflies. So I thought we can do that together. So let's go pick out some glass, shall we? I'm excited. I've always wanted to do this. Okay, let's see what we got. Ooh, this one's so pretty. How beautiful is that? And then the backside has this like cosmic purple color. Oh, let's put it in the maybe pile. Ooh, actually this blue might be nice. This would look so pretty on wings. You can kind of just see that movement. Oh, I love this. Okay, I love that. Pink might be really nice for a butterfly. The question is, do I want to do multiple colors of butterflies or just keep it cohesive with one color? Or maybe I just do like a combination of two. This one's giving me butterfly energy. Oh, I hate cutting into this. Look how beautiful this is. That's a nice yellow. Oh, I have two of these yellow shiny ones. I have a lot of blue, so it might be worth it to kind of tackle the blue. Ooh, these give like real good energy for butterflies too, eh? Ooh. Okay, actually, I think I got it. If we're gonna do multiple colors, let's do it in multiple blues. That way, it feels cohesive because there's like at least a color story. Even though this would be so beautiful, I don't know. There'll always be a time for beautiful glass. So yeah, I think we just do like 50 shades of blue. Okay, yeah. Like I got tons of blues, so I think we just play with blue, the blue party. Oh my goodness, okay. What if we see how many wings we can make with this guy and then we go from there? And then maybe we do a mix of like this with this. Like that would be really pretty. Okay. Oh boy. I don't know what's wrong with me sometimes. I was so excited to start this project. In a way, I feel like I was drawn to it on a lot of different levels. I love any chance to work on stained glass skills because the more that you do it, the more that you learn and you grow. But on top of that, I guess I always feel drawn to creating projects that carry deeper meanings Many of my projects always carry stories, and butterflies are powerful symbols of transformation and rebirth. They represent personal growth and change. They are symbols for hope and joy and new beginnings. And with the loss of another parent this year, a person who played a very significant role in my life and, of course, my husband's, I think I'm always searching for outlets to express my emotions, whether that's through woodworking or welding, stained glass, painting, furniture flipping. Heck, I even write sad poetry. Honestly, I'm not sure why that when I feel the most helpless, when I feel the most lost and sad, that's when I actually feel this need to express it outwardly. I think I make better art. I think I make better creative projects when I feel something attached to it. A part of me thinks that's why I enjoy making pieces for other people, flipping furniture for other people, designing spaces for other people. There's an emotional connection attached to it, and it's not about money. It's about story and passion and joy, and that's art to me. I understand that healing looks so different to everyone, but doing it through the act of creativity is how I cope with my difficult times. I mean, the greenhouse in general has been a place of healing. It was my motivation after the loss of my parent. And not to get too personal, but the loss of Daphne, it felt like the death of so much more. You know, we had to rebuild our life without her, find joy without her. And this project was a symbol of joy and hope that everything is gonna be okay. I think this project was my first step in that. And let me tell you, I am not a pro stained glass artist. I made a lot of mistakes through this, but that's okay. This did not need to be perfect. It just needed to be. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it does. Now, this project did take me into the next day where I got to meet with my lovely Messmaker Morning crew from my Patreon. We actually spend an hour once a month on a live feed and we do creative projects together while we hang out and play games. I love this time with my creative friends, and if anybody ever wants to join, Patreon link is in my description box.
Good morning, friends. I'm so excited for this day. Okay, so the butterflies, they are made. I finished them yesterday in my Messmaker Morning. It was a lovely time. Now that I have my butterfly wings finished, I need to solder these together, but I'm not just gonna solder them flat. I'm actually gonna give it a bit more of like a 3D effect by giving them a little bit of a bend and then soldering them together that way. That way it looks a little bit more lifelike. It just gives them a little bit more movement. And then on my frame here, what I need to do is take my copper foil and I'm gonna just basically create a crisscross on the edges. And then I need to think about the weight distribution as well. So making sure that the larger ones are properly weighted around the frame, and then I can weight the smaller ones around that. But I'm gonna try to find connection points between the large ones and the small ones so that some of the wings can get connected together. And then I can finish all of the soldering around the butterfly wings after that, because I don't want to solder on top of anything if it means that maybe I can actually have two copper pieces touching each other. So I'm just gonna make sure that I have my connection points, and then we'll kind of make them beautiful once we get them onto here. My sweet little butterflies are gonna come together. I'm so happy.
Soldering was definitely a challenge with only 2 hands, but I really enjoyed the process of seeing these butterflies come to life. Now, I do realize that my inspiration from the Kicking Glass book was about making moths, because, you know, moths to a flame thing, but I'm doing butterflies because I'm making it my own, you know? Soldering these butterflies onto the cage was also a very precarious and fickle thing to navigate with only 2 hands. But where there is a passion and will, there is always a way, and I had that and Vampire Diaries in the background to give me a boost of magic or distraction from the stress of it all. But hey, speaking of magic, once all the butterflies were on this cage, it was time for some real magic to take place using black solder patina, and it was this step that really made it all come together. Well, my friends, another garden quest completed. The arbor finally has florals, and I can't wait to see what magic grows from it. Behind the greenhouse, my little wild garden has begun, and it's so fun to slowly see this little garden space transform little by little, year by year, project by project. And of course, here's what the butterfly lamp looked like once it finally returned home. Friends, I love this light so much. This is just the cutest freaking thing. And I love the flowers in my arbor. Oh my goodness. That was just such a great suggestion. Thank you so much to everyone in the comments for providing your suggestions. Going with the clematis feels right. But I did learn one thing from a Patreon member, that clematis, the roots like to stay very shaded and cool, while the flowers and all the vines, they love the sun and the heat. So I did end up taking 2 rocks that actually my grandmother painted on for me at her retirement home. So I just thought these were perfect, and I placed them around the roots of some of the clematis that I kind of felt like was a little bit more exposed. And I hope that helps keep those roots nice and cool so that they do succeed. And this is just one of the things that I love about my Patreon, is that there's just experts of all kinds of creative media, and it's so nice because you can go and ask questions. Everyone's willing to help. You guys are amazing. So I'm really excited to see how that arbor takes off. And like, my gosh, the hydrangeas, even if I can just get one petal on any of the hydrangeas to turn blue, I would be so ecstatic, and that would be a success to me. And I gotta say, I'm so happy about the wildflower garden. I'm excited to see if any of those seeds take off. I mean, I'm like, pray into the DIY gods, pray into the garden gods. This will not be the final greenhouse episode, so hopefully by the next time we do a greenhouse episode, I'll have something to show. But of course, my friends, as always, stay positive, stay creative, love your magic, and keep on DIYing. Bye-bye.